Welcome to another episode of Room for a Podcast. I am Brittany, and I have another amazing guest on today's episode. Alexis, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Brittany?
I'm pretty good. It's a beautiful day in upstate New York. It's like 68 degrees. It's sunny out, so it's a good day.
Okay, it's sunny down here too. I'm in Mississippi.
Okay, so it's probably hot though. It's humid.
Yeah, but not humid today. It's actually kind of pleasant. It's tolerable.
Okay, that's cool. What part of Mississippi are you? Like what area is northern or southern?
So I'm in Horn Lake, Mississippi. It's right outside Memphis. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. But we purchased, my husband and I, we purchased a house out here 5 years ago, and we've been out here ever since. But it's 5 minutes away from Memphis.
Yeah, I know where it is. I was born and raised in Memphis. I have family
Okay.
in Horn Lake, South Haven, Holly Springs.
So you know then. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yep, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Alexis is what is it, a holistic health coach, and I'm sorry, I just mixed it up.
You did it right.
Holistic health coach. No, something else, right?
Herbalist.
Herbalist. Yes, that's what it is. Herbalist.
Yes.
So yeah, I found Alexis online, like I do most of my guests. She has a strong message, and she can provide so much value for my listeners and for myself. And y'all know I like to find people who can help the viewers, the listeners, people who are there's like a gap of information. And so that's what I'm here to do, help fill the gap. So Alexis, how long have you been a holistic health coach and an herbalist?
So I have been a holistic health coach and herbalist. It feels like I was born with this gift.
Mm-hmm.
But just getting really into it, I'm self-taught. It's been maybe 8 years. And it all started with me basically trying to heal myself from various issues. So that's how it all started. And then I started getting into nutrition and meal prepping for people around me and customers. And started making herbal medicine for them. And before I knew it, it started Sincerely Nature.
That's cool. That's what's up. Normally, it's always like a person will go through something or they learn on their own, and then it's like, hey, I've learned this information is valuable. How can I share it with the people around me, the people I love and care about?
Mm-hmm.
So, was it something specific? I know you talk about PCOS a lot online. So, do you mind like getting into that journey? How you were diagnosed? Like, when did you find out? Did you always know? Like, let's dive into that.
Okay, so I was diagnosed with PCOS back in 2018. It was the early part, so I believe it was around February. And the reason I even went to the doctor was, of course, for a checkup, but I finally worked up the courage to just talk to my doctor and let her know that my husband and I had been trying to have a baby for years and we were not successful. And this is when she started talking to me about PCOS. I had never in my life heard of it, never. So she really couldn't describe it to me. I would ask what it is, and she would say, she told me you would have to have 2 out of the 3 symptoms, and the symptoms were irregular cycle, excess face hair, or cysts on your ovaries. So I had 2 of those symptoms, and that's when I was diagnosed. Now, the treatments that she offered, especially with me having concerns about not getting pregnant, she suggested that I get on birth control and that I get on metformin. But with me already being into the holistic lifestyle, choosing a natural route, this is just something I was born with it since the little girl. It just always been in me I was drawn to nature. I was like, no, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And that's when I crafted a blend of herbs and roots known as Woman Wellness Tea. And I also implemented lifestyle changes and dietary changes. In less than 10 months, I was able to conceive naturally. After trying for so many years, I was able to conceive naturally. And I started sharing my story online. And that's how I started getting recognition.
That is amazing. That's a blessing right there. Like after years, and then in 10 months, you made changes on your own that you knew you could do, and you were blessed with a baby. Like,
And And a lot of women who are taking a woman wellness tea, who have been trying for 2, 3, 4 years, they are getting pregnant before I got pregnant. Like it took, less than 10 months for me, like around 9.5 months. For them, they are on the woman wellness tea, and like the second and third month, they're conceiving. So
Mm.
it's just it's amazing to see the women give me the feedback, because I've been in their shoes. I know how it feels to take pregnancy tests after pregnancy test, only for it to come back negative, just feeling like, hopeless, especially
Yeah.
um as a woman who was married, and my husband so desired a child and I wasn't able to give it to him. So it's really touching, and I'm just so grateful to be blessed with this gift. I really am.
So let's back up a little bit. So growing up, you say you've always like been in touch with nature and you feel like it was a gift. So did you always play outside? Did you make your own little blends, or were you in a household that talked about the like what's the term I'm looking for? Even I can't. I'm having a brain fart right now, but talked about endocrine health, reproductive health. Did y'all talk about that growing up, or?
So no, I didn't come from that kind of background. I tried to explain this, but every time I try, it's more of a feeling. I was drawn to nature. I always used to love going outside, just looking at the grass, looking at the trees was my favorite. Just seeing how the roots stretch so far on the ground with the trees. Just seeing how insects, how they kind of basically make the world go round. Seriously. Seeing
Mm-hmm.
them build and seeing them, you can just learn a lot in nature, and I was just always drawn to it. So that's something that I feel like that was just instilled in me. It was a gift. I really feel like maybe some ancestors before me, they were into this lifestyle. But honestly, a lot of our ancestors were, because they had no choice but to be into this lifestyle, because we didn't have all of the stuff that we have now. And so I just feel like in my family, I'm the one who kind of tapped back in. But now that I'm older and I kind of look back, I can see some things that my auntie did, that was more so natural. She has a very her she just had everything you needed there, and she could make nothing into something.
Mm-hmm.
She could concoct some stuff and just really make a potion, and just apply it or have you consume it. So I really feel like it's just in my bloodline. But like I said before, it really is in a lot of our bloodlines. But of course, as I got older and started getting into a teenager and stuff, I started having other interests like Jordans and just other stuff, just
Yeah.
typical teenager stuff. But that it always been with me. It always been with me. I remember like when I first got my cycle at 13 or 14. um when I first got my cycle, I remember not wanting to take pain medication, and I didn't, because it was just something in me that didn't agree with it, even at that very young age.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just feel like it's just always been in me. And so just growing up, when I first moved out at 18, I started making like implementing lifestyle changes and started cooking different, from like cooking healthier options. I stopped buying frozen foods and processed foods. I was 18 while all of my peers and classmates was going to the club. I'm clipping coupons, going to the grocery store like I'm a 50-year-old woman. I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? So it's always been, I've always had that earthy, grounded energy, that very is just a very grounded energy. And
Yeah.
so it's always been in me. It's never left. And of course, as I started tapping in more into who I am, that's when my gift was released to me. I remember God just speaking to me saying, you're gonna make this, you're gonna make this, you're gonna make this. And I remember being at work writing it down. And all of that has come to fruition.
It's like what the saying is, if you seek, you shall find.
Yes.
So if you're like tapping in and you're like constantly seeking, how can I implement this, or how can I learn more? The ideas are going to come up. You're going to see things that will inspire you to make new things, and you'll be able to not hear voices, but connect with your higher power.
Yes.
You'll be able to have guidance from your creator, your higher power.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
some people don't really understand it when I talk about it, but I can tell that you understand exactly what I'm talking about when I
I
say.
understand exactly what you're saying, and I like to say higher self or higher power too.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that too. It's all the same. And now that I'm peeping the vibe, I can like I feel comfortable saying that, because when you say that, some people you might be like, I don't know, which you're leaving God out of the equation, but it's
Mm-hmm.
all the same.
It's all
Higher
the
self,
same.
all connected. So yes.
It's all the same. Yeah, I wasn't. So when I'm trying to think, when I was like 20, I moved to, I was in Nashville for college. And then I moved to San Diego. I was about 20, 21. I think like 21, I moved to San Diego. And there's not really much trees there. It's just desert.
Mm.
There might be a few palm trees, but it's not green like it is in Tennessee. And after a few years living there, I moved to this area called North Park, because it's like the only it's near the zoo. It's the only part of San Diego that has trees. Like, it's like a green area. So I'm like, I want to live in North Park because the trees are here. And I didn't realize that, but like that green environment, the trees like brought comfort to me. So finally, when I moved to upstate New York, and I got here in the summertime of 2019. It was like June 2019, and I started to get to the area, and it's like green and it's hilly. I'm like, man, this feels so comforting, like home, because I hadn't lived at home in like years. So it's green. I don't know, but just being around the trees and then nature is like so calming. And when you're able to connect and like just appreciate nature, it's a different level of gratitude that you can actually feel. And back in, I think, maybe 2021 ish, I found out I had fibroids, but I never knew anything about it. I just I always had, as when I was a teenager, I don't remember having like super painful menstrual cycles or anything like that. It was kind of normal. I didn't really take a lot of pain medicine. And then maybe around 2016, 2017, I started noticing like how painful it was. But I kind of tuned it out. I would just take like in the Navy you get like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. So I would be popping 800 milligrams ibuprofen, just to get through. And
Mm.
at the time I drank a lot. I'm sober now, but I would drink a lot. So I wasn't
Yeah.
even in tune with my body. And so then, years later, I get sober, and I'm like, man, I'm not questioning why it's so painful, but I just know it's painful. I'm sleeping a lot during my cycle or before my cycle. And my wife, she's like, first she was kind of annoyed, like, why, you sleep so much a week before, and then you sleep on your cycle, like that's 2 weeks out of your month is gone. That's not normal. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that's how, but the other people I know, they do that too. Like my family, they sleep a lot. They have painful cycles. I thought it was normal. So finally, like all these symptoms I'm having, I'm starting to I like be aware of the symptoms I'm having, because now I'm sober. And if my stomach's hurting super bad, I feel the pain because I'm sober. There was like
Mm.
pain whenever I have to have a bowel movement. There was pain before and during. It was just like, it was insane. I thought all this stuff was normal. So I get to the doctor, and like the first doctor kind of like bypassed, like, hey, maybe you have fibroids. We'll get you checked out. Did the exam. I had fibroids. And then I'm like, okay, so now what? Like, there's still pain, and I give him the symptoms of what's going on. And finally, one doctor mentioned endometriosis. And I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. And the symptoms he talked about, I end up Googling. I'm like, okay, those are the symptoms. And I had to wait another year before they even did the surgery. Because, with endometriosis, you can't be diagnosed until they go in your body and see it. So back in 2021, no, 22, I had the surgery, or like not a big surgery, but they went and cauterized like the scar tissue. But before I even had that, a year prior to that, one of the doctors was like, hey, take the birth control, and it can help, it'll help alleviate the symptoms. And maybe like a few weeks into it, I'm like, this stuff got me so moody. I'm on edge. I don't want to do it. So I stopped taking it. And I go back to him. He was like, did you try the medicine? I'm like, I don't want to take medicine. I just want to figure out how to live a normal lifestyle with these conditions, or how can I make it go away? And he's like, it never goes away. So then finally, almost a year later, I go, they do like the procedure to cauterize the scar tissue. And he's telling my wife, he's like, it was so much that if she doesn't take the medicine, it was like a prescription they prescribed me. If she doesn't take this medicine, it can come back, or we might have to give her a hysterectomy to remove everything. And if y'all want to have kids, either freeze her eggs, or you're gonna have the kids, like, figure it out, basically. So I'm just like, what you mean it's coming back? And I don't want to take this medicine. I'm reading the symptoms. I'm reading the side effects. It's like depression, moodiness, basically like menopause, like
Yeah.
hot flashes. I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then around that time, I started to like seek out more holistic. It was other stuff going on in my life as well, but I started to seek out like more holistic things I could do as far as nutrition and moving my body and being intentional. Like, my body is my temple, so I need to be taking care of it. But like before all that, it was other stuff going on, and I started to seek out different ways. And then I found out about the endometriosis. I'm like, so you telling me that I have to take this medicine to live with it? And I'm like,
Yeah.
it has to be a different way. It has to be a different way. But I
Yep.
haven't got to the point of like the herbs, but I started to change up my lifestyle, and it has helped drastically.
It's so sad that so many women are taking birth control for endometriosis, for PCOS, for fibroids, for irregular cycles, and even cystic acne, when there are solutions such as just making simple lifestyle changes that can make a huge difference. You know, a lot of pads and tampons contain chemicals that actually prolong your cycle, or that make you cramp, or that form fibroids. There are My team and I, we host these online events where we actually break down the pad, exposing what each component of it is.
Hmm.
Um and shout out to my team, Kiva Richardson and Raheem. Raheem and Kiva, they offer these natural pads. So Raheem is really, really good at breaking it down and explaining, like, what each material is.
Hmm.
And it's just mind blowing. And then we have the period panty lawsuit, because a lot of people think the period panties are safer. Honestly, I'll say I'm at a point in my life, I believe in duality. We're gonna find some bad in everything. It's
Hmm.
all about picking your poison. But when it comes to the period panties, there are lawsuits because they contain forever chemicals. And those are like chemicals that's really, really hard to get rid of. They like stay in your bloodstream. And when it stays in your bloodstream, all it's going to do is just keep circulating. So it's going to cause that acidity buildup, toxicity buildup. It's going to cause stress on the liver. It's going to cause hormone imbalance and stuff like that. So it's just really sad. Just going back to your situation with the doctor saying what he or she said about staying on the medication, when we can make
Yeah.
simple changes such as just switching to natural pads or free bleeding if we can, or just removing, pasteurized dairy out of our life. Just, using more greens or changing out our soap,
Hmm.
going to natural products. It's just, it is, a person doesn't even have to go plant-based at all. You can just eat cleaner, stay away from the
Yeah.
fried food, stay away from sodas and juices and sugar, and it will be a huge change.
The
Yep.
only thing that has a chokehold on me is caffeine.
Yeah. It has it on a lot of people. Yeah.
But as far as like the processed foods and like all the fried foods, like I can go without. When I was in San Diego, I ate more clean foods because it was easier to like access it. Because like I don't know, like the food culture or diet culture on the West Coast is much different from
Yeah.
upstate New York. Up here, you see a lot of pasta, pizza, stuff like that, like comfort foods. But on the West Coast, it's more like fueling your body. I'm sure I can find places up here that's more like fueling your body, but it just takes more time. But there are more local farmers and butchers, and like if I want to
Mm-hmm.
go to a farmer's market to get some stuff directly from the farmer. But yeah, it's insane. So when I came across your information, I'm like, I have to get her on the show, because again, like you said, it's like so many people out here that like struggle with health issues, and it can be, I'm not gonna say it could be reversed, but it can be limited to almost reverse by changing dietary intake, soaps, like stuff on the hair. You know that movie called what is it? They Clone Tyrone. It went over a lot of people's heads, but I got what they were
Yeah.
what they were saying.
A lot of us, I caught on immediately, and as soon as I caught on, I didn't even finish watching the movie because it angered me.
Mm-hmm.
It angered me because just being so aware of this I'm 32 now, so being aware of this type of stuff since I was 18, 19, it's like it still bothers me. I don't, I'm glad that the truth can come out in a way of entertainment, but I like my truth straight up truth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But however a person can learn the truth, I'm for it. But it just angered me so bad because it's like, okay, now that we know that and it's in front of our face, what can we do? What can we do? And I think that's just like my mission. That's why I use my platform to just expose like how wicked and corrupt these systems are, and how it's all for profit. It's just meant to they just want to keep us sick so they can keep on living the good life, and we're
Mm-hmm.
down here just going along with the program. And it's like we can't escape it. It's so believable because it's all on TV. You can't even put on the radio in between commercial breaks. They're promoting some type of new surgery or some type of new medication. And actually, on the way home, when I came back to the house today, they got 2 recalls on 2 diabetic medications, and it's like, why is that not super publicized like they do when they are pushing out the medication?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so sad because a lot of us, I hope we realize that a lot of this stuff come with side effects. And if we can, I understand in some situations we can't. I have a mom who's sick and she's on different medications, but if there's any way we can, we need to be trying to take another route. And that's what I feel like my place is. That's my whole mission. um you know I try every day to just share what I've learned.
Yeah. I agree. I understand from your point. It is everywhere. It's like we're like programmed daily, and if we're not aware, we just taking all this information in, and then it spikes our interest, and it's like, oh, I want this, I want that, but not like reading the labels or um just being aware of what consumerism is, the consuming these things is doing to us. It's
Yeah.
really it's a consumerized society. And I don't know, it just like, again, connecting with my higher power really helped me to disconnect
Yeah.
and reevaluate the things I think I want and the things that I'm like seeking out.
And it's definitely levels too. So for anybody who is going to, who's listening, who's open to receive this message, just know that it's levels. Like, you don't have to come out running into this lifestyle. Embrace the baby steps, because even with the baby steps, you're making a huge change. You're every small change that a person makes is really contributing to the bloodline. It's really helping to restore. It's helping to reconnect to the roots, where how we are meant to live. So a lot of time I find people, they just think, oh my gosh, they get so overwhelmed.
Hmm.
And I'm like, it's okay. Just start making changes. So if you're using this type of, I'll use like if you're using this type of washing powder, just know there are substitutes. You can make your own. If you're using this type of soap, don't feel discouraged. You can just use this one. There is a substitute for everything out there. So if anybody is feeling defeated, you're feeling you know discouraged, there is a solution. And you don't have I still got ways to go. My desire is to have dual citizenship somewhere, or, well, it's not no or, my that's my goal, to have dual citizenship. So I want to, be here, but I also want to have citizenship somewhere else, because whatever country I go to, it's going to be a country where the food system is totally different. The healthcare
Hmm.
system will really be a healthcare system. And even when I stay here, I desire to have chickens to raise on my own. You know what I mean? I that's the lifestyle that I want. Um, I want to grow my own food, lots of it. I want to be able to um just live that life where, in just like now, watermelon season is about to end. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to um freeze my water. Well, I can do that now, but let me see something that's more like canning. Okra
Mm-hmm.
season is almost over, so I desire to can my okra to preserve it so that I can pull it out. I want to open up my pantry and see my own homemade jams and foods and all that kind of stuff. That's a desire. So I, other people might look at me and say, "Oh, like, I desire to be where you are." It might be somebody who's looking at you, who's saying, I want to live that lifestyle. So just anybody who's listening, just start where you are, because when you know better, you just do better
Mm-hmm.
automatically.
It's baby steps, and
It's
but the sad thing about it is like most times it change comes after like something detrimental happening. Like for you, you were diagnosed with PCOS, and then you took the herbal route you're already doing to implement it in your life even more. But what really got your attention, it sounds like, was the PCOS thing and trying to have a baby. For me, it was like battling with like depression and painful cycles and all this stuff. I'm like, man, it got to be a different way of living. And then I ended up implementing the personal development that I had always been into um, seeking out holistic information and put it together. I'm like, I gotta tell everybody about this
mm-hmm.
because a lot of times people are like stuck in survival mode, and it's not their fault, but
Right.
it's all they know. Especially if you're trying to work and pay the bills, it takes effort to set time aside to learn about something that's going to actually help you.
Yep.
And it won't be an instantaneous thing. It takes a little time, and it's like having that delayed gratification to stick around until you see
Yep.
things come to fruition.
Trust in the process.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about the washing powder. I know you talk about natural washing powder, natural like pads and tampons. Can we talk more about that, and how did
Sure.
you start making it and figuring out that it works?
Ooh, this is my favorite subject. And I speak with so much passion because when I talk about this subject, I'm trying to calm down because it angers me, but I'm also excited to teach. So, when I was diagnosed with PCOS, I had to understand. I'm like, where is this hormone imbalance coming from? Because that's all PCOS is a hormone imbalance. And so this is when I started. I feel like I was already eating kind of clean. I was eating clean. I had eliminated like white rice, white potatoes, white bread, oatmeal, sugar, juice. Well, I had already been not eating juice and soda, but I feel like I eliminated so much, but I still was suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what is going on? So this is when I found that a lot of products that we use to clean our house with, to clean our body with, to wash our hair with, a lot of these products contain harsh chemicals. And the thing that I like to focus on is the endocrine disruptors that it contains. So it has stuff that cause like organ damage and skin rashes and lung and eye irritants. But the thing that stood out to me was endocrine disruptors. Now, having a background of being in school for nursing and knowing about anatomy and physiology, I immediately knew what the endocrine system was.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think at that time that information about the endocrine system wasn't really out here. In fact, I remember when I was in school, I couldn't understand why we didn't stay on the endocrine system the way we did the cardiovascular system. Or the digestive system. I'm like, this right here, the lymphatic and the endocrine system, like, we need to be focusing on this just as much as we do everything else. So, this is when I found out that all the products that I was using contain endocrine disruptors. And so I started making changes. I started switching out soaps to natural soaps. And looking back, a lot of the soaps I was using, it was a good start, but they truly weren't natural. but it still was a step above what I was using.
Mm-hmm.
And I started like reducing some of the limiting some of the products I was using. For instance, I used to use like the beads and the softeners and the fabric sheets. I stopped using that, but I was still using a washing powder because I wasn't quite ready to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, I just was like, look, I gotta let this go, because if I'm gonna do it, I gotta just learn how to make my own products. And that's what I started doing. I started making my own natural cleaner. I started making my own tooth powder, my own deodorant, which I don't really make deodorant no more because I love key limes. Key limes work excellent for deodorant because key limes contain citric acid, and citric acid actually destroys the odor causing bacteria. So
Mm.
citric acid is going to work as a natural deodorant. So that's what I use for that. And I started making my own hair products. Like I have hair pudding, hair oil, shampoo, conditioner, um, pre-wash. I make all type of products, stuff to make my hair blacker. Um, which is basically amla powder. But yeah, so I learned how to make my own washing powder, and how I came up with the washing powder recipe. It's really not something that I created. You can actually find that recipe all online. But what I did was, once I saw it online, I wanted to see how it really worked. And I saw
Mm-hmm.
that it worked, and I kind of just put my own twist to it. And also, I researched each ingredient. So some people, because every time I post a video, it goes viral, and I'm gonna have, mostly good comments, but it's gonna always be somebody who say, "Well, borax is still a chemical." The thing is, we want to use the less harsh chemicals. So I much rather use borax, which is completely natural, versus using perfumes and fragrances and all this other chemistry, harsh chemistry, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's been working well for me. And so I have a cleaning book because I wanted to just put everything out there so people can learn how to make their own natural hygiene and household cleaning products. And it has over 30 recipes. It's showing you how to make your own, um, like carpet freshener, uh floor cleaner, soap, what do you call it, like to remove the soap scum, like a shower cleaner. It,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, how to make your own body butter, your own body scrubs, your own deodorants, your own conditioner. Like, it has so many recipes. Stain removers, um tooth powder, like I said. So yeah, just getting into that. And I remember one of the last products that I switched out was toothpaste. The toothpaste I was using, well, I won't say the brand, but I was using a toothpaste that I thought was natural, but it really wasn't natural. Come to find out, if you look at the toothpaste, the tube that the toothpaste comes in, at the end, it's going to have a red stripe, a black stripe, a green stripe, or a blue stripe. If it is any other color besides green, that means that it has chemicals in there. So there's a popular toothpaste brand that everybody think is natural. That stripe is not green. The toothpaste that I love is Aromir, and I give recommendations in the book, but I love the Aromir, and I love my tooth powder, and that's what I do. Also do oil pulling, so it's just so many things. If anybody has baking soda, lemons, and peroxide, and alcohol, and Castile soap in their home, you can clean your entire house just with those ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I got like the fragrances still kind of got a hold on me because
Oh,
the way you raise life, it smells good. You clean in, you want to smell the bleach. You want to make sure that
oh,
everything. I know. It's baby steps. First, it was nutrition for me. I had I had a coach, and she was big on nutrition, and she the one who pointed out reading the labels on the foods, right? So I get that, understood. But now it's like going a step further to the products I'm using for cleaning and like cleaning my body. And like my wife and I, she'll like she do shopping for the house because I don't like going to Target. It be too many people. And then if I go with her, we're gonna be in there for 3 hours. So she'll
oh
get the
yeah.
stuff and she'll try to get like more of the holistic brands, but even then I'm gonna have to go look and see if there is a green stripe on the toothpaste and like the certain deodorants and stuff like that we get. I'm not gonna say the name, but it's one we switched over to like maybe 3 months ago. Yeah, like before the sub even started, and it works pretty good. It's one of those you might have to reapply it a little bit, but key lime seems like it'd be a better option. And also from not using like the main brand deodorants, like this armpit sweat, it's not strong. I guess like after finally not detoxing, but allow our armpits, our underarms to like get rid of all the other harsh chemicals we have been using for years. It doesn't like the sweat isn't like, dang man, you need to go to wash your armpits. It's not like that. So, but yeah,
Right. But it's baby steps. It's baby steps to it. I still feel like just having the mindset and the willing to learn, that's a baby step, and that's a great big start, because some people are just like, forget it, I'm gonna use what I want to use. My grandma used pine sol and I'm gonna use it. And and people find it shocking. They think that I was just born into like using all this natural stuff and eating the way I eat. This lifestyle is something that really chose me, and it's just baby steps. But I was going to say something about the cleaning products. Um Castile soap, you'll be surprised. Castile soap will take you far. Castile soap does wonders. Like, you can clean your whole house with it. You can clean your hair with it. Anything you have on the floor, on your couch. You can wash clothes with it. Castile soap is it. Castile soap is that girl.
I gotta figure out where I can get it from. I know that Dr. Berners has some Castile soap too, right?
Yeah,
Would
Dr.
you? Is that an okay brand?
Yes. A
Oh,
lot of people be let me people be saying, because I have a video and people just like, oh, don't use Dr. Bronner's. It had these spells on the back of the bottle.
spells.
Let,
Words are spells.
let me say, a spell is these other products out here that get that's putting all this chemistry in here and all this bad witchcraft in there for us to get sick. Now that's a spell to me, but I'm just like, it's just him sharing his beliefs.
Yeah.
And and they like, I'm gonna stay away from it because he putting all that crazy stuff on there. That don't got nothing to do with me. That so I just think people find a way to kind of get out of stuff. Like, they using that, but you can turn over an ingredient list and look at all of the ingredients and go and look up toxicologist reports and see. I got some websites that I have bookmarked in my phone, and these websites, they break down what each ingredient means and what it's found in and how it affects different organs. So to me, it's like, I'm going to use Dr. Bronner's. I'm not going to use the other brand. So yeah, I just want to put that out there because everybody always talks about that. One person beliefs have nothing to believe in me. If I believe in apples, you believe in oranges, I ain't got nothing to do with me, because I'm protected and I believe in what I believe. And I mean, now if I start believing your belief, then that's maybe gonna become my belief. But I'm strong on my foundation and what I believe in, so it don't bother me. And it's not a spell. It's just this man talking about his beliefs and how he wants the world to be, which I actually don't see anything wrong with it, because he talks about incorporating mushroom medicine and psilocybin and all that kind of stuff, instead of like, how some people be on type of medication for anxiety or depression. He's just trying to show that there's an alternative for people who probably don't want to use that type of stuff. And I see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Most of the stuff that's pushed or program to us is like quick results or something that's gonna act like quickly to do a quick fix, and it's not even really fixing. It's only masking
Yes.
what's really going on, and you don't have to pay attention to it no more. But down the line, there's gonna be some other kind of disruptions. And like again, what I talked about for you was PCOS, for me it was endometriosis and like depression and all that stuff. It's two things that's gonna make people change: either inspiration or desperation. Either you're gonna be inspired to be like, oh man, I'm inspired by X, Y, and Z. So I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna start practicing it. Or desperation, where it's like, man, this sucks. I don't like the current situation I'm in. You know, I don't like the pains I'm feeling. You know, my cycles, whatever. Not being able to have a baby at the moment. Desperation. I'm gonna make these changes. So it's only like two things. I don't know. It's like two sides of the same coin: desperation, and inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, people could make the changes off inspiration. But it's a small percent that actually does it from inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it has
Mm-hmm.
to be like some kind of huge disruptions. And I
Yep.
wanted to go back to, you said you were in nursing school, and look how like your path lined up, you know, parallel to it, just same practice but a different form, you know, like you were taught about anatomy and the body and all this, and then you look into herbs and holistic health, but you already have some kind of knowledge about the body. And then all you have to do is combine it. It's like our higher power like puts us on these paths. And then if it doesn't work out, I'm not sure if you finish school or not, but like if it doesn't work out, we's like, man, why didn't I finish this? Why didn't I do that? We'll beat ourselves up. But then if we keep on taking those steps, we realize that the path we're on, everything we learned is still helpful to where we are now, because there's something like up for you is like the holistic and the herbs, and then you match it with the what you learn in nursing school. And it's like a
Yep.
perfect blend. Boom.
Yep. Yep. So I didn't finish that school, but I did. I'm still in this school, this school of self-awareness, this
Mm-hmm.
school of learning myself, choosing to pick up books to read, choosing to dedicate hours of studying and researching and experimenting. So I didn't finish that school, but I feel like I'm in a whole nother school. And I think about that all the time, how everything aligned. Even with me not finishing nursing school, I stopped going to nursing school because I was working in the healthcare field, and I saw how the nurses was working, and they were always so tired. And so I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Plus, I stopped going to nursing school because I was like, it just seemed like they just passing out medication, and that's really not true healthcare. That's really not healing. And so I switched my major to become a dietitian. I didn't even get far in it because I remember being like 18, 19 in the class, in the room, and the instructor is teaching, and she is just saying, milk for strong bones and calcium, and eat the cheese and this and that. And I'm like, how in the world can who's supposed to be eating this? Because not everybody can eat this. This should not be a one size fit all thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt this gut wrenching annoyance with it. And I just knew, I just felt something gravitating me. And you know what? Now that I'm talking about this, that feeling that I was feeling was that feeling that was sparking back up that I had when I was a little girl, when I was drawn to nature, connected to the trees, connected to all of the natural things around me. That's what it was. I just didn't agree with it. And so I started, I was still in healthcare. I was working as a caregiver, and then I started. I think you have to go to school for it now, but I became a dialysis technician. So we drew the blood, we took all the vitals, we had to hook these patients up to a dialyzer. It was a very it for me, it was heavy. It was heavy
Mm-hmm.
working in that environment because you see so many sick people, and especially in our community. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just so heartbreaking. And you get connected to these people because you see them 3 times a week. And I just remember one time, it was this woman, she grabbed me, she said, baby, let me tell you something. She said, whatever you do, don't get on no pain medications for nothing. She said, because the reason I'm on this dialysis is because I took all that pain medication. You see, a lot of medication, it it causes the kidneys to stop functioning for some people.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on it for so long, it creates too much stress on your kidneys, and now you need to be on dialysis. And it's the side effects is right in our face. I've had other people who say, I know I got sick from this dialysis because of the food I eat, because of the food I was eating. you know. So it's like I was always in an environment that made me strive to do better. I've always been in a work environment. I've always been in the healthcare field. In my last days of working, I was a business office assistant, and I worked in a nursing home. I worked in a nursing home in the business office, and just seeing, it's so heavy. Just seeing the nurses, I done seen some nurses save lives. Seriously, I seen some nurses save lives, but at the same time, it's like we're not promoting health. We're just giving medication. We're people just getting on by. We ain't really implement no system where people are healing. This is not a healthcare system. It's so heavy to talk about. It really is. But
Yeah,
and it's
preventative care.
and this full moon probably ain't making it no better with my emotions, but it's so heavy to talk about. But I'm grateful that I went through those experiences, because it taught me where I did it showed me where I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be a nurse anymore. I didn't want to be in the healthcare field. I have no desire to be in that field. I am where I want to be, but I'm always going back and forth to see if I want to do something to kind of certify some things so that I can practice the way I desire to practice. So I just know that standing in hospitals in front of sick patients that's already sick, it's just too heavy for me. But what I can do is catch a person before they get sick, and what I can do is help a person who's right at the beginning of their sickness and help them to essentially go back to do better. And that's what I do now. But yeah, I didn't finish school, and I just feel like every day it just learning myself and pushing myself to learn. I'm always studying something.
Yeah, the information are all in the books. And even if people don't like to read, there's audiobooks, there's YouTube, there's podcasts. Like there's so many ways to receive information now that you don't have to sit there and read a book. Even though you might be, for me, I can retain it more if I actually sit there and read it versus if I'm driving and listening to something. I catch bits and pieces of it, but if I'm like actually like sitting there reading it, then if I'm paying attention, I can like really retain information.
Yes.
But yeah, for me, I want to be able to continue helping people because I was right before I got out of the military back in December of this past year. Even before I got out, for like the last maybe year or two, I started to connect with myself and find out who I was and have guidance for my creator. Because I'm meditating and I'm trying to like show up as my best self. And the things that we were doing, not we weren't doing any of the bad things. I was working in MEPS, like to process people to go to the Navy. So it wasn't a bad job. It was just like, again, all about numbers. And if a person wanted to go in as a corpsman, meaning like a medic or something, but the Navy needed IT people, they're like, oh, we only have intel specialists or IT, knowing that there's like a lot of, med tech jobs. And I'm like, so I got to sit here and a lot of people, before
Ooh.
I didn't mind doing it, before, but then now I'm trying to show up as my truest self, my highest self. If I'm at work lying, it's going against my core beliefs, and then it's just going to disrupt my peace and my sanity because now it's like that internal battle. So it's probably kind of how you felt, going against your belief system, going against what you believe.
Yeah. Integrity is so huge to me. I remember my last days of working in a nursing home. I started seeing how the business office works. I'm like, oh, so we doing it like that. We're only accepting people if it's like, if they have this type of insurance, or if it's like this, or if it's like this. We being picky, like, and it just made me realize that y'all are part of this corrupt system. And I don't care how much money a person offers me. I don't care what type of vacation they can take me on. I don't care about any of that. Nothing is worth lying to people. Keeping it real and making a difference and being authentic and just being being so authentic where people can relate to me, that's more important to me than anything besides my family and my health. I could not sleep. I could my I was born like my in tune with my guilty conscience. if I'm doing something bad, I got to get it off of me.
Yeah.
So just work, I can't do it. It don't feel right. I can't
Mhm.
do it. I'm not a good liar. I'm not a good pretender. I keep it real. You
Mhm.
know, me and my mama, we say that all the time about each other. So I just knew I couldn't work for this system.
Mhm.
I would be fired as a nurse because I would be like, I just would be I would be giving so much truth. I would be arguing with all the higher ups. I would be standing up. I would be making a difference. I would be shouting on top of the building. I would probably go on the intercom and start talking. Like I can't. I would definitely. I No, it's not for me. So that's why I'm so bold and I'm so vocal and I'm so loud about what I believe in, or I'll say what I know in. Um, and it should be obvious to a lot of us because if we just look at our family
Mhm.
and see how many of them have been affected by the lives, the life that they lived. Like my mama, that was before even being diagnosed with PCOS. Mom, because I always strive. When I got out at 18, that's when I started making changes. Long before the PCOS, just seeing
Mhm.
how my mama was, how unhealthy she was, and how sick she was, that was the motivation for me to not go in that direction.
Mhm.
It was just in me. It was just in me. So no, the healthcare system, it's not for me. But I can say doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals, I have great respect for them because they definitely have places. Because if somebody get hit by a car, God forbid, those nurses and doctors can save lives, and I have great respect for them. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to earn a degree. It takes
Mhm.
a lot of determination to finish school. It takes a lot to study when you don't want to. It takes a lot to work a job that's heavy. You seeing people that's sick. So I do have a lot of great respect for them. I'm not, a person who be like, oh, just F the medical system. No,
Nah.
because a lot of people, got into this system in this work field not knowing the agenda,
Mhm.
you know? And even if they did, duality, everything has its place. Some people need doctors, some people
Mhm.
got to go to the hospital. For me and my family, we go to the doctor. If somebody has some type of imbalance, we correct it through herbs and nutrition and lifestyle changes, exercise and more or whatever. That's what we do. So the hospital and the medical professionals, they definitely have a place because we need their tools and we
Mhm.
need them to look at certain things that we just don't know about. But it's up to us to choose which route we want to go. And so for some people, they know that people like me in the community, we're available. And so that's why some people choose to go the natural route. But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I get hit by a car, take me to the hospital.
Exactly.
But if I'm having like again, like you said, some imbalances, yeah, I go to the doctor to see what's going on, have an idea what it is, and then do some research of like holistic ways to heal or to like live with it if it's something that's not reversible.
Yep.
But and it makes you for me it makes me feel better all the way around. Not just the issue that I was having, but like mentally, like I just you feel lighter. You can think clear because even just eating like a lot of processed foods, like we don't really do a lot of like junk food in my house. And even like some years ago, before I was even married, my sister and brother was living with me, and they opened the refrigerator and like FaceTime my mom. He's like, "Man, ain't no snacks here. There's no food here." It's like it's food here. It's just not like Doritos, hot Cheetos, like Kool-Aid squeezes. Like I don't have that there.
Yeah.
Um, and like just taking all that stuff out. And even then, I didn't know about reading the labels up until maybe 2 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
three.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started to learn about it because I'm like, so these chemicals like are disrupting my peace, disrupting the flow of my life,
Yep.
and now I got to go, take it a step further into and looking into the chemicals. And even though like having like knowing that there's chemicals in the foods that affect me, it's so easy to go back to what I've been doing for years. So just say for 28 years I was like just doing whatever, eating whatever, not reading labels, uneducated. And
Mm-hmm.
then for 2 years I started to be better and read the labels and have mindful eating. Soon as my life is disrupted, it's easier to fall back into the pattern of like well, I just eat this, I grab this because it's
Yep.
quicker versus putting in the time and effort. So that's another thing I have to like be aware of, and
Yep.
everyone has to be aware of
And
because.
so, and that's why at this point in my life, I actually hired a expert, because it's like every practitioner needs a practitioner, every doctor needs a doctor, and I had to understand, because I'm in a new chapter in my life, and I'm actually going through a healing process right now. So I'm noticing breakouts, and I'm like, what is, well, I know what's going on, but I'm like, whoa, this is wow. Like, for my skin to be breaking out and I don't have breakouts, is letting me know, me connecting with this doctor is helping me, because there are obviously some things that I was doing wrong, that I didn't figure it out completely. And so I'm at a point in my life, it's like I need help.
Mhm.
I need an accountability partner, because like you said, like, being mindful, like, oh, I'm off track. Because when I get off track, my getting off track is not eating like super bad. It's not eating fast food. It might be like indulging in too many. I love these cookies by Simple Meals. There's some almond flour, like some vegan cookies. I would eat a whole box of them and then go and have like this little vegan ice cream cone. That's my way. Or eating too much bread or something like that. That's my way of bad eating. It's not like going to McDonald's and Burger King and eating hot wings and all that type of stuff, or milkshakes, but it's eating too much of the foods that I enjoy. And so I just had to realize, what is like, why can I need to get inside my mind. I need to talk with an expert and unravel what's going on. And so this is my second week in her program, and I'm learning so much. And I am going to be sharing everything that I've learned with my audience, because the information that this doctor is giving me is mind blowing, and I'm also doing a lot of relearning during this process. And it has, I'm shooketh. I'm shooketh.
See, you gotta always be remaining teachable and willing to like
Yeah,
either relearn or unlearn or learn
yeah.
something new. Out with the old, in with the new. And they say, like as soon as you learn something, it creates new pathways in your brain. So there's
Mm,
always room to like learn some stuff. Your brain would never be too full to learn anything.
mm-hmm.
But remaining teachable. That's awesome. And I
Yes.
want to ask you about like herbs. So was it hard finding the herbs, or were you going to different like farmers? Did you buy it online? Like how was it when you started to make your stuff?
So, no. Anytime, I always tell people, like, when it comes to finding herbs, go to a local farm, not a farmer, go to a local herb shop, get familiar with the owners, just ask them where they get their supply from. If you don't want to choose their route, just simply Google, like, where can I get these herbs from? And then, a lot of websites will pop up. When those websites pop up, it's so important to read their company's mission, to see what they're all about, see how they were founded. Sometimes a lot of those companies, they have on their website, they have pictures of the people so you can see them, read about them, how they got started with herbalism and botany and herbal medicine. So that's what I did. I wanted to find out. I wanted to know. I wanted to work directly with the people that I get my herbs from. And so that's the best way for people to do it. Making herbal medicine, or just like anything, any type of craft, it's so personal, and it should be so intentional, that we should, just building the foundation, we need to see what aligns with us. So I remember when I was first getting to into herbal medicine, I remember asking my mentor something about, like, where did he get his herbs from or something, and he never really answered the question. And I caught on later. I was like, you know what? This is personal. Where he get his herbs from might align with him. I need to get to know these companies myself. It
Mm-hmm.
forces you to read. It forces you to know about this company, so that if customers come back to you and ask you, you questions, then you will know. But for people who are just trying to build their home apothecary, you would be surprised. going to the store and just getting some dill, getting some thyme, getting rosemary, oregano especially. Try to get the organic herbs, because it's not sprayed with all of those pesticides and stuff. But just starting with herbs like culinary herbs can make a huge difference, especially oregano, because it's antiviral, it's antifungal, it's
Mm.
antimicrobial. Yeah, so and a lot of people think that you have to have like 50 herbs. You can get a good 10 herbs: burdock, dandelion, sarsaparilla, chaparral, black seed, um, spearmint or peppermint or eucalyptus, anything like in that family.
I hope
Uh,
y'all writing this down.
huh?
I said, I hope y'all writing this down, y'all listeners.
Right. Calendula. You can just get a few herbs: chamomile, rosemary. If I haven't said that, get those few herbs and you can work with it. Because one thing about herbs, you will find that a lot of herbs really do the same thing. It thins the blood, because our blood is not supposed to be thick. It also helps to stabilize blood sugar and blood pressure, and it reduces inflammation. Almost every herb has those same components. Some, yes, are stronger than others. But
Mm-hmm.
that's when somebody who is like familiar with herbs, that's when we come in and we can, give the wisdom that we have. And I'm still learning things, you know what I mean? I'm still learning, but I have a large herb supply because of the work that I do. But for those of you trying to just, do something for yourself and your family, all you need is a good 10 herbs.
Which
Not even
ones? Which ones would you recommend for like uh to not spike blood sugars or like lower blood pressure?
um
And this is not health advice. I'm just asking for a recommendation for
uh,
my listeners.
for blood sugar, people need to look into bitter melon. Bitter melon is really good for reducing blood sugar levels, and for blood pressure, hawthorn berry. Hawthorn
Mm,
berry is excellent, and olive leaf is another good one. Olive leaf is really, really good too. Olive leaf is like excellent for both. So like the those are like bitter melon for blood sugar, hawthorn for high blood pressure and cholesterol and overall heart health. But olive leaf will help with both of those things. So if a person doesn't want to get both, then olive leaf. See how
mm.
olive leaf works. But I gotta say, we all the true proof of something working is in the blood. So even when you're taking these herbs, don't just be like, oh, I'm good. You have to still go get that insulin check, get that A1C check, see what that glucose is doing. Monitor your blood pressure, because it's that might not be the herb for you. You might have to go to something else. And there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
So many. It's just like food. This food might not work for me because my body just doesn't absorb it, or my body cannot break it down. It's the same thing with herbs. And God is just so brilliant, because I don't like to say but God provided so many different herbs for us to try. Like if this
Yeah.
don't work, it's so many options.
And as far as saying he, it's like it's a habit because that's what we was raised on.
Yes,
And
yes,
then as time goes on, like when you start to like educate yourself, but not even educate, when you start to know yourself more and have a relationship with your creator, then for me it's not he either. But it's easy. It's not. It's sometimes it's a habit to say he. It's like,
yes.
wait, who said it's a man or he, or who said the genitals, or just go it goes deep.
Yes, because it's the energy. It's the energy for me, and that energy can be masculine. It can be feminine. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
the energy, and I know a lot of people like in my life. They just surprised that I'm kind of I don't talk a certain way anymore, because I'm Southern Baptist. I was in the choir. I was at Sunday school. I was in the plays. I was at
Mm-hmm.
Sunday school. And just all of the things. Staying for all three services.
Y'all,
I
you
was
was one of those.
Yes, yes. We was in that church, and so a lot of people kind of find it like, what happened when you tap in? When you tap in, and nutrition is what got me to this point. Just nutrition got me to this point. Yep.
Mhm. breaking the bondage, breaking
Yes,
those chains,
yes,
it's
yeah,
important. I mean, that conversation right there, we'll be on for a whole nother hour because like that's
yeah.
another topic that I can talk about too.
Mm-hmm.
And some people not comfortable with it, but I'm
Yeah,
again, like you say, you bold, I'm bold. I learned somebody talk about it. I talk about what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and I don't insult people, but I just talk about my beliefs and what I'm learning.
right.
Um, and so this has been a awesome episode. Like I'm gonna make sure I'm sending this out to like specific people. Like, hey, go listen to this. Go listen. Go listen to this episode. Especially like whenever I have an episode that I know people in my life can relate to, I send it directly to them. Hey, this episode is out. Go listen to it. So is there any before we wrap it up? Is there anything else that you would like to leave our listeners and viewers with? Like any like golden nuggets that that change your life and can help change their life? I mean, you already dropped a lot of them, but anything else?
I just want to say this might be a lot of information, but again, start where you are. You we are never going to be perfect. Nothing on this in this world is perfect. And just remember duality, remember balance. Just start where you are. If you are striving to live a healthier lifestyle, you do not have to rush out here being perfect and just being overwhelmed. Just take baby steps. And if anybody is feel like they were meant to make herbal medicine or something, start tapping into your gift, because we need more of these people out here. We need to all come together and create our own healthcare systems seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say. And just stay true to yourself. We need more real people out here. We got too many people with filters. We got too many people lying. We got everybody rich. Ain't nobody struggling. Let's try to be more authentic, because I truly believe that when we're being authentic, that's how people relate to us.
Definitely. I you just words out of my mouth, being authentic, because yeah, everybody rich, ain't nobody poor. Like everybody, somebody's struggling. It's okay to
Okay,
say it.
right.
And again, y'all, thank you so much for listening and tapping into this episode. It's been amazing, and I will put your TikTok, well, your social media handles. It will be in the show notes, and I think you have a website on your social media as well that I will put in the show notes.
So I want to share my Woman Wellness Tea. This is our bestseller. This is the Woman Wellness Tea. It actually comes with the instruction card too, and it's great for women who have fibroids, cysts, infertility, PCOS, irregular cycles, heavy cycles. Right now, it is on sale for $30. When it goes off sale, I'll be happy to give a discount for your listeners. So we'll talk about this so we can give a discount for your listeners. Right now, these herbal antibiotics are in stock. So if y'all don't know, antibiotics that we get from the doctor, it destroys the good and the bad bacteria. So it weakens your immune system. This right here
Mhm.
is helping people with STIs and STDs, and it's helping people with the C word, who catches the C word. So these,
Oh,
yeah, these antibiotics are it. I'm telling you, you feel a little scratch, a little cough coming on, you feel a little sniffle, you having a flare up, herbal antibiotic. And we have yoni steaming herbs, we have body butters, we have natural pads, we have kits and bundles. And I have a cleaning book. It's called Cleaning with Nature. It's a digital download. It's over 30 recipes. So check out my cleaning book too, y'all.
so you'll give the listeners a discount
Yeah,
code? Do you know what it will be yet, or you want to talk about it offline about the
yeah.
discount code that
I'm going to create a. It probably will be Brittany or Room for it, or like
Room
the
for podcast?
like the acronym. I might do something like that, RFS or something like that.
Okay.
Well, RF Room for it, yeah. So I might do something like that, and I'll send it to you, and we'll get your listeners hooked up.
Boom.
Yeah,
Again, thank you so much, Alexis. This has been an amazing episode. And again, I will see y'all on the next episode of Room for a Podcast. And we are out.
peace.